And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. He is and ever was eternal God the Son. And it is this one who is the eternal God the Son who became of the seed of David, was born of the seed of David according to the flesh. But it was also this one who is and ever was God's Son who was appointed the Son of God with power by the resurrection from the dead. So that what we have here is the Son, in some sense, being appointed the Son. So how do we understand this? Well, this is where this little phrase, with power, helps us. He was appointed Son of God with power, or in power. The point is not that Christ was not the Son of God before he became man, or that he was not the Son of God before the resurrection. The point is this, that the Son of God, now joined to human nature, the Son of God as God-man, the point is that by the resurrection, he moved from being Son of God in lowliness and weakness, according to the realm of the flesh, and was appointed Son of God with power by the resurrection, according to the Spirit. No longer Son of God in weakness and limitation. No longer Son of God in suffering and abasement. He is now, by the resurrection, appointed Son of God with power. He is now Son of God glorified. The Son of God as man. The God-man has been invested with all of the glory and all of the power that was promised to him as the reward of his obedience unto death. You see, what Paul is claiming here is that the pre-existent, divine, eternal Son, who at a point in time entered into human experience as the promised Messiah, Son of David, that this Son of God, he was appointed by the resurrection to a new and more powerful position and relationship to the world. The Son, as God-man, has attained to a new and glorified and exalted status. You see, again, what we have here in this passage is really a description of what theologians have described as the three states of Christ. Have you ever heard that language? Reference to the three states of Christ. There is his original state of pre-incarnate glory. There is his state of humiliation. And there is his state of exaltation. And we see all three of these here in our text. In the beginning of verse 3, concerning his Son, we see his divine, eternal sonship. This one who came, is and was, and ever will be, God the Son. He existed before he came, before he was born of the seed of David. There is his original state of pre-incarnate glory. Pre-incarnate meaning before he took on human flesh. But then we have reference to his state of humiliation, who was born of the seed of David, according to the flesh. His pre-incarnate state of glory, he takes to himself human flesh, he enters into this earth to suffer for us and to save us, his state of humiliation. And now we have in verse 4, the God-man raised from the dead as the Son of God with power. And this is what is referred to as his state of exaltation. He now reigns in his now glorified human nature, joined to the divine nature, as both Messiah and powerful, exalted, and enthroned King, as Paul concludes, therefore, this description. He is Jesus Christ our Lord, our exalted Lord and King. Now, this idea that the resurrection, in some sense, appointed or caused Jesus to be appointed Son of God with power has parallels elsewhere in the Scriptures. Think of the Great Commission. How did Jesus begin the Great Commission? He said, "All authority has been given to me."